Am I the asshole for not including my friends that didn't pitch in for a b-day gift? I swiped my credit card on a $700 birthday gift and asked 5 friends to each pitch in $100 and I'll cover the rest. I gave them 30 days, due 2 weeks before the b-day, to get the money together. They all agreed. Edit. We agreed on pitching in before I bought it. 2 told me they couldn't pay me on time but would pay me before the b-day. I told them if you don't I'll have to cover the difference and say it was from me and the other friends. Come the day of the birthday, both didn't pay. I said out of good faith, can you at least give me a portion? They both said they couldn't. This meant I am covering $400 of the $700 of the gift. I wrote on the gift package from me, friend 1, friend 2, friend 3. The other 2 were upset because I didn't put their name but they said they would have paid me back after the birthday. I told them that's bullshit because you were blowing off money on dumb stuff, alcohol, Pokemon cards, grass, etc. all month when you could have paid me back. Am I the asshole here? Not the asshole. You will never get the dollar back. Smart move. Next time just give a gift by yourself and spend what you want. Did they all agree to this before you swiped your card? Who are you buying a birthday gift for that $700? Did you all have a sit down and agree to this before you paid for it? Or you just presented it to everyone that this is what you are doing? Why are you spending $700 on a birthday present? That's what I'd want to know before I pass judgment here. Not the asshole. They agreed to pitch in, didn't follow through, and expected to be credited anyway. You were fair, and they can't blame you for their choices. Not the asshole. If they want credit for the gift, they need to pitch in. If they can't afford to go in on a $700 gift, then they should buy a gift that they can afford and gift that instead. That having been said, $700 for a birthday gift is insane. Nope. There happened to me a couple of times before I started collecting up front. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my sister's kids stay with me after she canceled on me last minute? So, my 29M sister, 32F, has 3 kids, 10, 7, 5. Last month, she asked me if I could watch them for a weekend while she and her husband went on a short anniversary trip. I agreed because I love my nieces and nephew, but I made it clear that I needed at least 2 weeks' notice because I work long hours, and I'd have to rearrange my schedule. Fast forward to this past week. I asked my boss for time off, cleared my weekend, and stocked my house with everything the kids would need. Friday afternoon rolls around, and I'm waiting for her to drop them off. Suddenly, I get a text from her saying they're not coming. She decided last minute that they were going to a family-friendly resort instead and didn't need me to watch them anymore. No apology, just, we'll do it another time. I was frustrated because I had completely cleared my weekend, turned down plans with friends, and rearranged my work schedule for this. I responded by telling her it wasn't cool to cancel on me last minute like that, especially when I went out of my way to help. Then, 2 days later, she called me again asking if I could watch the kids the following weekend. Apparently, something came up with her original plan, and she needed someone to watch them after all. I told her no, I wasn't available. She got upset and said I was being selfish and punishing her kids for something that wasn't their fault. Now she's mad at me, and my parents are saying I should be more understanding because things come up when you're a parent. I don't have kids, but I feel like it's just basic respect to not cancel on someone last minute and then expect them to be available whenever you want. So, am I the asshole for refusing to watch my sister's kids after she canceled on me last minute? Edit. Wow, I didn't expect so many not the asshole responses. Thanks, everyone. I was starting to feel guilty about standing my ground, but it's good to hear that others agree it's important to set boundaries, even with family. I love my nieces and nephew, but my time is valuable too. And I'm glad I'm not being unreasonable here. Thanks again for all the support. Just tell them you cannot rearrange your schedule back to back like this, and you told her you need at least 2 weeks, so she already knew that chances were very unlikely. Her trying to guilt you is in poor taste. Additionally, just because your sister was inconsiderate and you are now saying no, this does not mean you are punishing the kids. I'd probably emphasize that point the most. Instead of having her ask for a weekend for you to babysit, you could ask for a weekend to take them in the future for a makeup weekend for bonding. Take control of when you see them instead of relying on your flaky sister. Edit. Removed a double negative. Things come up when you're a parent. And things come up when you're not a parent. Things come up for everybody. Parents aren't unique. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You're not punishing the kids, you're punishing her. The kids will be fine, it's just gonna be a PETA for her to make sure they're fine. As for what your parents said, yeah, I'm sure things do come up when you handle kids, but it's your responsibility as a parent to handle those things. Anyway, this wasn't something coming up, it was her deciding to take them with her 'cause she wanted to. Not the asshole. It sounds like your sister really took advantage of your kindness. You had plans and made sacrifices. She should respect your time too. Good on you for stick NG to your boundaries. Not the asshole. Tell them your work won't let you rearrange your schedule again and that you are more than willing to watch them if given 2 weeks notice so you can get your schedule sorted. Not the asshole. Just tell them you made plans you couldn't cancel after they canceled on you. Am I the asshole for excluding my brother from my wedding because of his fun facts? I have an older brother, David, 41. David has boundary issues and was in the learning disabled classes. My parents never let him out of the home. He has a very rough personality, and because he was never allowed to work or do anything, so in his 40s he doesn't have friends. He still dominates the conversation at every holiday with fun facts, and goes off on those and doesn't realize no one is listening. My other siblings and I just really don't like David because my parents let him do whatever and just dominate whatever social settings we are in. My older sister eloped because of David, being my mom kept trying to find David a place at her wedding. I'm getting married to Mel, and my youngest brother Nick is my best man. My sister, who is close to Mel, is in the bridal party. Her husband is one of my best men and their son is a ring bearer. My wife wants a real wedding and not be forced to elope like my sister did. David has no place. He's not going to be invited because the first thing he did was insult the ring I got my Mel was his fun facts about how diamonds are worthless and do not resell well. I should have got her a second-hand engagement ring or a colored stone engagement ring. We then got a history on engagement rings and marriage tradition. We tried shutting him up but he wouldn't, and my mom said let the professor talk. Even at 40 she thinks my brother fun facts are cute. This put a hard no on Mel's stance that my brother can't come to the wedding. If my parents defend him, even once, they are not coming. She not having not wedding like my sister, and it's time for David to be put in his place. Mom called and asked about wedding planning and I told her she wasn't involved after what happened to my sister wedding dress shopping. Mom brought David, who told everyone his fun facts about wedding dress history. That's when my sister decided to elope. I told Mom if she and Dad wanted to come to the wedding as guests they can, but David isn't invited. Mom didn't talk for a while. I think she started crying because my dad took over the phone call. I told him what upset Mom and said David isn't invited and Mom can't be trusted to be involved in wedding planning without David tagging along. Dad said he doesn't understand why we all hate David, and I told him what is wrong with his fun facts. My dad said, the boy likes to talk and there's no harm in it. I told my dad that's the thing, there is harm in David's fun facts, and now no one wants to be around him. Dad started arguing, saying stuff in defense of David, and I told Dad we are at a stalemate and I guess all three of you won't be coming to the wedding. I'm sorry, but that is how it is. I ended the conversation with my dad, and my mom has been upset, texting like a crazy person to everybody about how we all need to understand David. What I'm doing is mean. Mel feels like this whole thing is why I can't invite David or my parents. I agree that they can't even be trusted to come to my wedding without sneaking David in. Mom took David to the wedding dress shopping? I would have walked out the moment I saw him. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Let's be clear, it isn't David's fun facts or that he likes to talk that is the core problem. It is that every gathering becomes about him and only him. That there isn't room for anyone else to say, do or feel anything themselves, and any joy you and your siblings might have in being together is killed dead by his behavior. You will not let him suck all the joy out of your wedding. It isn't David's fault. It is his parents' fault. Tell them that. Info. Has David been diagnosed with anything? Info. Is David incapable of making decisions for himself? The way you talk about him in this story, he could be replaced by your mom having an annoying yappy dog that no one likes. Is it not possible to discuss his behavior with him directly? He's in his 40s and is clearly capable of communicating to some degree. Not the asshole in any way, shape or form. Your parents have failed David, and this is the natural consequence of enabling this behavior for decades. Also, it's really fucking weird that he's 40 and they still talk about him as if he's a small child. Do not mention anything about the wedding to the three of them. And make sure your siblings are also aware and don't do it either. Hire security and make sure they know what your parents and David look like. Not the asshole. Your brother is used to being the center of attention. Always. He's never not been the center. It's not even fair to call it main character syndrome since he doesn't know any different. Your parents created this problem. There is nothing wrong with your future wife wanting to be the center of attention at her own wedding. The only way she will get this is if your brother doesn't come. Be happy that you still ended up with so many awesome people who do want to support you and your new family. Your other siblings sound really great. Am I the asshole for defending my oldest daughter to my younger children? I have 3 children with my, now deceased, ex-husband. My oldest is in her 30s and my younger 2 are in their 20s. When the kids were all still under the age of 14, my ex and I divorced due to his cheating. He also had his mistress pregnant. My younger 2 remained close with their dad and later with the 2 children he had with his mistress. though they never got close to her. While my oldest chose to end her relationship with her father, and the courts allowed this through allowing me full custody of her. When my oldest was 20, their father passed away and his mistress had a breakdown and ended up unable to care for her kids. She later died. My younger kids wanted me or their older sister to take their half-siblings in. I said no to them and told them I could not possibly do it. Their focus was mostly on their sister, who made it very clear she would not be doing anything for them and did not wish to meet them either, which she never has. My kids and I were all in therapy at this time. But the resentment still lingered in my younger two children, which I was not aware of because they had appeared to do much better, and of late they have been incredibly hostile to their sister. They told her they deserved to have a relationship with the halves and the halves deserved to be with their family instead of being separated and adopted out individually. They blame their sister for their half-siblings wanting nothing to do with them today. Their argument is their sister was old enough to take them but they weren't, and she punished the four of them in the process. This has caused a total breakdown in the relationship between my oldest and younger two. And my younger two wanted me on their side. However, I defended their sister by pointing out she was only 20 and in college and not likely to get accepted anyway, but also reminded them she had no relationship with their half-siblings and did not wish for one. I told them she was entitled to make her choice in her best interest. This led to them saying I could have and should have taken them too. That they try to have compassion for me because of the affair. But I seem so happy their half-siblings are out of all our lives. They asked me how I can be okay with their sister abandoning family to a broken system and how I can feel good about raising her that way. They also told me I'm taking her side by defending her, and because I said to them that they were allowed their own feelings but had to accept others would feel differently. Which they said was me implying they were wrong and she was right. Their anger at me has intensified now. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Expecting a 20-year-old college student to suddenly become a full-time caregiver is like asking someone with a learner's permit to drive a semi-truck. Defending your daughter's right to choose her own path isn't favoritism. It's just acknowledging that she didn't sign up for everyone else's choices. They're allowed their feelings, but family bonds shouldn't come with forced adoption papers. Not the asshole at all. The younger two need a lot more therapy. They have no right to dictate to you or your oldest, any more than you do with them. The fact that their halves associate the foster situation with them is likewise on the halves. Your younger two had nothing to do with it, so the halves breaking off ties with them is not right. So, when the two children came of age, did they try to get custody of their half-siblings? The kids would only be a few years older at that time. Or was that too much work and too much money? How dare a woman not jeopardize her future for people she doesn't know and has zero obligation towards? Not the asshole. Your younger children are absolutely sexist assholes. I have a hard time believing they would treat an older brother this way. Not the asshole, but like they really have audacity to be mad at a 20-year-old for not taking on the responsibility of children that are not theirs, and that you should raise children that came about to a betrayal of you. Whelp me thinks you need to talk with a therapist or engage in family therapy together and talk this out with the therapist that they are pushing an unreasonable ask. Not the asshole. No one should be allowed to force parenthood to another unwilling person.